We kick things off with the sight of a boy who is assumed to be the hero of the story. He seems to be planning a trip to another world because he has a few missions to deal with. The boy was given 3 months on Earth, and he has been able to gather enough power to go back to his fantasy world. Today, he is going to open a portal and leave Japan for good so that he can go back to where he belongs. With that, our hero kicks off his new journey and also looks very excited to travel to this other world. He actually manages to get through the portal and reach the fantasy world with ease. This is a surreal moment for the boy as he can't believe that he is now away from Earth. He clenches his fists to make sure that he's not dreaming. And then he offers to give us some context. It turns out that 4 years ago, our hero was summoned to this fantasy world, which is called the Kingdom of Andagilia. He was brought here in order to defeat the Demon King, and he was able to complete his task after a heavy battle. However, instead of rewarding him with cute girls and huge mansions, our hero was sent back to Earth because the people of this kingdom wanted all the power to themselves. Now, he is back with a new passion, especially because he has attained an epic power that gives him the status of an ancient hero. We can see some thieves in front of him, so the boy decides to act fast. He wants to test out his powers, so he tries a spell that he's never tried before. The boy uses soil restriction and is able to control the soil of the ground to attack these thieves. Now, our hero proceeds to fight these men with his own bare hands, much to their surprise. He is able to take them down with ease. And then he proceeds to tell us why he wanted to stay back in this fantasy world. Basically, the main part about being a hero here is that you are always surrounded by cute girls who will serve you like slaves. As a matter of fact, our hero could choose the type of girl he wanted as well. There are elf girls, beast girls, and even demon girls for him to enjoy. The boy was able to live the life of a king when he was fighting the war against the demon lord, and he did not want it to stop. This is exactly why he did everything in his power to be able to come back to this fantasy world as a hero and make the most of the cute girls on offer. After he gets done with the thieves, the boy is thanked by an old man, who is very impressed by his skills. He is then given a ride in the old man's carriage and they have a chat about how he was able to make it in time to save him. Of course, the boy only wants to know where the kingdom is so that he can go and enjoy his harem because he was never interested in talking about heroes. The old man doesn't seem to know where Andagilia is, so the boy figures that he should not speak too much in front of him. He is simply guided to the Mila's kingdom and gets off at the nearest town, known as the City Towers. This is actually a good thing for our hero, because in his previous life, he was treated like a slave by the king of Andagilia. He did not have the freedom to go wherever he wanted till he defeated the demon lord, so it makes sense for him to touch base in a friendly city. The old man thanks the boy once again for his efforts and then leaves him alone. It is here where we finally learn that our hero's name is Amagi. He enters the guild of the town and finds a cute girl named Etna who is here to register him as an adventurer. She asks him for his name, but Amagi turns on his intrusive thoughts and starts flirting with Etna. He tells her that she can call him Haruto, and it confuses her, but she proceeds to get him registered anyway. After Amagi is done with the registration, he puts his head on Etna's lap to enjoy her curvy body. He is glad that he has completed the formalities, because he can now act on his intrusive thoughts and do unspeakable things to Etna. Of course, this is all just in his head, and the reality is that he is still filling the form in front of Etna. She asks him if he knows how to read and write, but he is a bit nervous because he doesn't speak the language of this world. Etna figures that it's Amagi's first time, so she decides to do all the work for him. In order to complete the registration, Amagi will need to answer all of Etna's questions, but she needs to know if he actually wants to become an adventurer. He says yes, so Etna asks him if he would like to learn reading and writing. He says that he will never be able to master the writing of this world, so Etna asks where Amagi was born. Our hero simply says that he comes from Mild Village, so the cute guild girl asks him about immersion for requests. There are many types that he can choose from, but Amagi needs to think calmly. He wonders if he should study from now, or just have someone who can read and write for him. It takes him some time, but eventually asks for requests to take down demons and escort people. Etna is impressed by Amagi's choice, because there are some good results in these fields. Of course, Amagi is not thinking about doing heroic things as his intrusive thoughts can only see Etna as a cute girl. She fills the form for our hero and then shows him a spot to place his thumbprint. Amagi takes a look at the form, but can't understand anything because Etna can't write that well either. He can only assume that the place where Etna is pointing is the thumbprint zone, so he does as she says and submits the form. Etna gives Amagi a smile and says that his guild card will be ready in a moment, so he just needs to wait for a bit. However, the sun is about to set soon, so Amagi also has to find a place to stay for the night before he can go ahead with his lodging. Etna comes to him with a request. To Amagi's surprise, her request seems to be a rather shady one as she wants him to serve her. Amagi starts to imagine all kinds of loot things and his fantasy might actually come true, but then we see that it was nothing more than another one of his intrusive thoughts. Back to reality. Our hero asks Etna what kind of request she has for him, and it turns out that he needs to take care of some demons on the southern road. There also happens to be a hero from the royal capital who is currently at the target area. Amagi is surprised to hear this, but Etna maintains that there are goblins at the venue, so he will be needed over there. None of this matters to Amagi, because he only wants to know about the hero. He asks Etna for more clarity, and she is shocked that he is not aware of this hero. It turns out that the royal capital has chosen a user of the holy sword, and this person has become the new hero of the kingdom. Amagi is a bit confused by this because he was not given any holy sword back when he had beaten the Demon King. He becomes sad and gloomy, after which he asks Etna if a hero is really needed, especially after the end of the Demon Lord. Etna is shocked to hear this news from Amagi, because as per her information, the Demon Lord is still alive and well. She wants to know more about this, but Amagi quickly realizes that something shady is going on in the kingdom. He just shrugs it off as something that he heard from a child who has now gone away. Etna says that if the Demon Lord was actually beaten, then it would have been news everywhere. That's right. So Amagi tells her that it just must have been a case of fake news. So there's no need to think so much about what he said. Amagi wonders how this could be possible, because he did defeat the Demon King with his own hands. This leads him to consider that there could be more than one Demon Lord. As a matter of fact, it looks like there is a Demon King in each country for the humans to handle. Etna asks Amagi if he's understood the request, so he snaps back to his senses and accepts the task. She is glad to hear this and thanks Amagi for accepting the task, because even though the hero is a member of the guild, it is not good to be alone when fighting demons. It would actually be a relief for her if Amagi were to help with the task. But our hero gets shocked when he looks at a map. It doesn't make any sense to him, because Andagulia is not on it. He asks Etna why there is no sign of the kingdom, but she is just as clueless as he is. Etna does not seem to recognize the name of the place Amagi is talking about, so it could mean that he has traveled to the wrong world. The map is totally different from what Amagi had seen when he was here before, and the look on his face makes Etna a bit worried as well. She asks if all is fine, but it looks like Amagi has found himself in the wrong kingdom. There's no point in crying over spilled milk, so our hero gets a room so that he can rest during the night. He makes sure to ask Etna about nearby gun shops before he gets his room, but the most important thing is that he is not where he had thought he was going. As a matter of fact, the language of this place is also very different from what he had seen before. This means that Etna's writing was not bad at all, but rather in a different language. Amagi doesn't know what to do anymore, so he goes to sleep, hoping to wake up with more clarity. The morning arrives, but our hero is still clueless about his next course of action. He can only imagine the fantasies he was living out in his past life where he could wake up with 2 cute girls every day. However, that is not his life here, so he needs to get to work quickly. Amagi meets the inn owner, whose name is Ka-chan. He asks our hero if he had a good night's sleep, and he says that the bed was amazing. After enjoying a nice breakfast, Amagi decides to take some of the food with him as he sets out for work. On his way out, Amagi does some quick calculations on the amount of money he would need to survive in this world. He spends around 1,000 of the local currency per night at the inn, and that too without any food. On top of that, the short sword that he bought costed him about 30,000 of the local currency. The only good thing here is that he is able to reach his place of work simply by walking, and he is also 30 minutes before time. Amagi thinks that he is a strong boy with charm, so he should be able to have his way in this world as well. More than 10 minutes have passed since his arrival, and now the door slowly opens. Amagi thinks about how can get Etna to do lewd things with him. But it turns out that the person entering through the door is actually Etna herself. She calls out to her friend Sharon, who walks in with a raging passion and calls out to Etna, asking her to treat her well today. Our hero is pleased to hear such words, but Etna would prefer it if she did not speak so loudly. Amagi's intrusive thoughts start to take over, as he now has 2 cute girls standing right in front of him. He is surely thinking of some unspeakable acts, but he gets interrupted when Etna introduces him to Sharon. It turns out that she is an adventurer. Just like him, she goes on to tell Sharon the same thing, and the two of them make their introductions. Amagi wants to flex in front of Sharon, so he tells her that he defeated 5 bandits the other day, and is also able to use magic. As expected, this works wonders on Sharon because she likes these skills a lot. She goes on to tell Amagi that she already respects him for his powers, so it looks like they've started off on the right track. Etna tells Amagi that she didn't want him to become lonely after leaving her for the quest, so she made sure to get Sharon to join him. Sharon has a strong look, and even though she is a rookie, our hero is fine to go with her. For some reason, Sharon panics and bows down to Amagi, after which he also does something silly by saying he's fine, even though she never asked him that question. Now, the new couple decides to take a look at the map, and they see that the goblins have lined up right outside the city's walls. Sharon is excited to step out on her journey, but she keeps referring to Amagi with respect, which he doesn't want her to do. He says that she can call him Haruko, which is the exact same thing he had said to Etna while flirting with her. He tells Sharon that this is his order, so she obediently obeys his commands almost as if she is his slave girl. Now, we shift to the battle scene where the goblins are wreaking havoc. Sharon uses her skills and is able to take down a few of the goblins with her sword. She is pleased by her progress, and even Amagi says that she's not bad for a girl who's fighting for the first time. Our hero has taken down way too many goblins to even count, but he notices that Sharon is a bit dirty after her attack. He offers her a napkin so that she can clean all the germs off her curvy body. Sharon can be seen blushing for a bit, but then she takes the napkin to wipe her face. Amagi wishes that he could use his healing magic on Sharon, but it won't be possible under the current scenario. He offers to continue fighting the goblins after taking a little break, and Sharon is more than fine with it. She is actually happy to be fighting with Amagi because he is a great warrior with amazing skills. He was able to take down so many goblins with ease, and even lead her through the forest, so it looks like Sharon already has a crush on him. Our hero is not going to let this chance slide, so he tells Sharon that it was easy for him to do this because she is very talented herself. She starts to blush, but doesn't want to show it, so she puts up a fake smile in front of Amagi, even though he knows what she is doing here. Now, Amagi asks Sharon why she's doing this goblin quest if it's not so easy for her. As a matter of fact, she was barely able to get much done and is already tired. To this, Sharon says that she opted for the mission because the hero had requested help for it. Basically, she wants to help the hero, since he travels around the world and fights the demon kings. Sharon had also promised her grandma that she would do her best to help those in need, so here she is. Of course, Amagi knows the truth of the hero, because he was also in his place till only a few months ago. He is aware that the hero is just a puppet to get the job done, so helping such a man would not be very important. As a matter of fact, he can't recall if he had someone like Sharon to help him out during his own epic battles. Anyway, he doesn't want to add any drama to the moment, because Sharon is done resting and is raring to go. With that, even Amagi says that they should continue with their mission. However, it's at this very moment that they hear a loud noise and wonder what it could be. The both of them turn around and they find a giant foot right in front of them. What's worse is that the giant foot belongs to a giant beast. Amagi is a bit shocked to see such an overpowered beast in front of him, and he is confused as to why he wasn't able to sense him till now. As a matter of fact, it feels as if this beast was born right here, right now, in front of Amagi and Sharon. There's no time to stop and think about reasons, because the monster attacks our hero without mercy. Of course, Amagi is able to stop him, and things look like they're about to get very interesting. However, the beast is shown to be very powerful as it lands another blow on Amagi, and he's barely able to block it this time. Our hero falls to the ground, but he didn't take a direct hit, so he can still get up. He's glad to be alive, but also knows that Sharon would not have been able to survive such a blow. He looks to his right and sees the cute fighter girl on the ground, but shocked with feet. She is almost frozen by the sight of the beast and is unable to move, even as it closes in on her. Amagi isn't going to lose his harem girl just yet, so he forces her to get up if she wants to survive. This motivates her well enough to get off the ground, but she also hugs our hero, who looks like he's now become Sharon's new lover boy. Their romantic moment comes to a halt when Sharon alerts Amagi that the giant monster is charging at him. Our hero is taken by surprise, and things don't look very good for him, but he manages to turn the tables and launch an ultimate kick attack. It's a tough strike, but Amagi manages to gain the upper hand and he sends the beast flying away like a little toy. This is the deciding moment in the battle, so Amagi tells Sharon to back down and lay low for a bit. She doesn't want to leave him alone, but our hero doesn't have time for this kind of chat. He tells Sharon that even if she decides to stay with him right now, she won't be able to help our hero. So, it would be best if Sharon took cover for a bit in order for her to be at a safe distance. After hearing it like this, Sharon figures that she should let Amagi do his thing for now. She walks away from the scene, which means that Amagi can finish off the beast in epic fashion. He walks up to the wounded monster and feels that he should just use a finisher move because Sharon is safe and can't be harmed. He just needs to clean up the mess over here. So he raises his hand and prepares to use a spell. It happens to be called Restraint, which means that Amagi is going to use ropes and other such tools to keep the monster stuck to one place. His skills are quite impressive as the beast roars in pain while the ropes pass through his body. Now that he doesn't have to worry about any sudden movements, Amagi jumps into the air with his sword and launches a brutal attack on the giant monster. He lands a nice strike right on the chest, but the beast seems to have survived the blow. Amagi takes a look at his sword and realizes that his opponent has great power. However, he's not one to back down from a challenge, so he takes the fight to the beast. Amagi proceeds to unleash a flurry of blows that are just as deadly as they are swift. Seeing his strength reminds our hero of the time he was at his peak level. The sword strikes continue to land on the monster without any mercy, and it doesn't look like he's going to hold out for much longer. The beast did manage to put up a decent fight, but now it drops to the ground, completely beaten and devoid of life. Amagi is certain that he is the winner, but then a sudden surge of energy enters the area. It's a surprise attack from behind that lands directly on the monster's body. It causes a deadly explosion, and Amagi is confused as to where this attack came from. After the fire fades away, our hero can see that the monster's body has been reduced to nothing but burnt ash. It's quite an amazing sight. So Amagi wants to know where the energy ball came from that did this to such a tough monster. As he tries to figure who can possess such powerful magic, he hears someone calling out to him to ask if he's alright. A night boy shows up, looking dashing and confident in his armor and sword. He says that he could sense a lot of intense magic, which was why he chose to rush here as soon as possible. Amagi is also taken aback by the boy's looks, but wants to know who he is, so he asks for his name. The boy realizes that he's being rude by not stating his identity, so he says he's Rian Van Roll, simply known as Rian. Now, Amagi introduces himself and also calls out to Sharon, so that he can tell Rian that she is with him. Rian is pleased to see such a cute girl, so he asks her if she's fine. The night boy is very handsome, so Sharon is almost speechless and can barely say her own name, let alone talk about the state of her body. As she thanks Rian for his fireball, Amagi sees something that he should not have seen, and it makes him feel awkward. Now, someone else calls out to Rian and rushes towards him, hoping that he is alright. This man is also a knight and his name is Unicrum, so it looks like Rian had support with him all this time. Unicrum is upset with Rian for just randomly running away, because they need to stick together and fight anything that comes their way. Of course, there is no danger to worry about here, since Amagi defeated the monster and Rian burnt its body. However, our hero can't get over the fact that Unicrum is just as handsome as Rian, so he wonders where these night boys are coming from. He takes a look at the beast's burnt body, and is amazed to see how damaged it is. Rian asks Unicrum if he had noticed any strange magic powers, because that was the main reason why he came running over here. Unicrum mocks his partner by saying he was 3 kilometers away from the scene, unlike Rian, who had simply rushed to the scene without even thinking about his health. Amagi knows it's best to keep his mouth shut, because revealing his powers at this stage will only do more harm than good. Now, Rian introduces our hero and Sharon to Unicrum and says that they should escort them to the town for safety reasons. Rian wants to take the highway, because that's where a lot of other people are also going. He seems to have taken an interest in Sharon, so he asks her if she would like to come with him. Amagi is not just going to stand there and let someone else flirt with his girl, so he gets in front of Sharon and tells Rian that they need to be on their own way, so an escort will not be needed. However, Rian insists on being there for protection, because there's a good chance that some other beast might attack Amagi and Sharon. Of course, our hero is the one who beat this monster with ease, but he can't risk exposing himself just yet. Rian seems full of passion, but Unicrum tells him to calm down, because Amagi and Sharon must have their own reasons for moving on a different path. Rian realizes that he was being rude once again, so he says sorry to Amagi and Sharon. He does ask the both of them to inform him once they're in town, but our hero tells him that he will be doing that anyway since he's an adventurer. As a matter of fact, he is going to report everything that happened to the guild. With that, the dashing night boys leave the scene, and Amagi finds a chance to tease Sharon for feeling lewd things in their presence. He asks her if she needs to change her clothes, and that's when she realizes that she has given away her position on the night boys. Sharon says that she doesn't have any extra clothes, so this would be a nice chance for Amagi to awaken the beast within. However, he keeps his intrusive thoughts away from his mind and uses his magic to create a fresh piece of cloth. He gives this to Sharon so that she can clean herself for now. The cute fighter girl is amazed that her partner can use his magic even for such things. But what she really wants to know is how he was able to summon this piece of cloth without even chanting anything. Amagi is not going to let out his secrets just yet, so he simply asks Sharon to focus on the cleaning for now. She asks him not to peek at her, so our hero says that he won't do such a thing. Amagi's thoughts might be shady, but he is a man of culture, so he keeps his word and looks away. However, Sharon still feels bad because what has happened to her could not be avoided. She asks Amagi to wait for her and also thanks him for helping her out in this awkward situation. After all, it would have been a bit embarrassing if she had gone in a compromised state with those 2 night boys. Amagi assumes that Sharon is in this situation because of something that he did, but she blushes and says that it was because of the giant monster. She is upset with Amagi for being naughty, so he accepts that he might have spoken without thinking. Sharon actually wanted to be nicer to our hero, but she has realized that he has shady intentions, so a simple thank you is all that she can offer. The main thing that needs to be discussed, though, is the monster that Amagi just defeated. Sharon wants to know how such a beast can even exist. But even our hero is at a loss for words because he has never come across such a monster before. It is true that some monsters can become more overpowered after a certain period of time. But even if we take that into consideration, this beast was a total freak of nature. Amagi decides it's time to use his genius brain. But the only thing that comes to his mind is the possibility of a necromancer using his powers to revive a deceased beast. However, if that was the case, then the monster would be all bones and no flesh. He looks at the body closely to see if he can find any clues. And that's when he notices that the beast does not have any ears. This is a bit odd, because all the goblins that were beaten earlier seem to have sharp, pointed ears. It's safe to say that the monster was not a boss-level goblin. But then Amagi comes across some skeletons as well. This looks very shady, so he wants to investigate some more. But Sharon asks him not to waste his time with this because they need to reach the guild. Our hero leaves the mysterious skeletons for now, and then we see him and Sharon at the town nearby. She says that she will go to the guild to file the report on the goblins, so Amagi tells her to do as she pleases. It looks like Sharon wants to ask him something, but is too shy to mention it out loud. Amagi realizes that it's about the awkward position she had found herself in earlier, so he switches to a gentleman and says that he will not mention anything about her to the guild. This can be their little secret, so Sharon can breathe a huge sigh of relief. She thanks her partner and even calls him kind, which is good for Amagi because he does want to make Sharon a part of his harem. Now, Etna reads the guild report and says that she will take this to the concerned people. Amagi wants to talk about the goblins and the skeletons, but Etna says that the report is now complete. It's a bit odd for our hero to hear this, because he hasn't even said anything yet. Etna simply says that the hero has safely returned, and that's all that matters, so this is the end of the report for her. She also promises Amagi that he will be paid a lot of reward money for his efforts. This kind of behavior is very confusing to our hero, so he grabs his head and wonders what is going on. One thing's for sure, and that's the fact that he's definitely in a different world. Anyway, there's no time to worry about such things, because Amagi needs to prepare himself for all the surprises that are yet to come. The next day, Sharon asks him to train her how to fight the way he does. Our hero is more than happy to do this for her, because he has other plans in mind. Sharon gives it her best shot and actually does well in trying to land a blow on Amagi. However, he is just too good for her and even does shady things while dodging her blows. Our hero comments that Sharon has soft skin, which would normally make a girl happy, but Sharon thinks he's a jerk for the way he's teasing her. Of course, these shady actions make Amagi very happy, so he doesn't mind if he loses the odd gold coin for his intrusive thoughts. He continues to tease Sharon throughout their training exercise, but she is not able to even touch him once. As a result, Amagi continues to act shady, and Sharon is forced to admit defeat. She falls to the ground completely devoid of energy, and our hero gladly says that he's a very lucky man. Sharon calls him creepy, but also concedes that he is her master. As far as Amagi is concerned, he's just glad that he can keep teasing Sharon because he just can't help himself. There's nothing that Sharon can do about it, so she continues to rest and says that she can't wait for the day she finally gets to smash his face for good. This actually reminds Amagi that today is the day when the hero will be coming to town. Sharon is also excited for this, because the city has been preparing for the hero's arrival with a lot of anticipation. Amagi, though, decides that he will go to the guild to pick up a new request. He asks Sharon what she's planning to do, but takes a moment to think of her response. In a surprising twist, she says that she will go back to the inn and will see Amagi later. Our hero is a bit confused by this, but figures that he should go to Etna and have a chat with her at the guild. On his way, he finds a girl lying on the streets, complaining that she can't eat anymore. He has no idea what's going on, because he doesn't know what this cute girl has already eaten. She says that she might just throw up, but Amagi is not in a position to help her. On top of that, this girl shows our hero something which he should not see, and he tries to keep his emotions under control. Amagi worries that it won't be long before his intrusive thoughts take over and make him do unspeakable things. However, he does realize that he needs to help this girl, otherwise she might end up with the wrong person. Amagi decides to tap the girl on her head in an effort to wake her up. He tells her that she should try to sleep at home even though she has eaten too much for her tummy to handle. Suddenly, the girl wakes up and takes a good look at our hero. She takes a moment to respond, but obviously doesn't recognize him, so she asks what he's doing here. This makes Amagi a bit conscious, because this girl might just be one of those legal Alita characters. The girl takes an interest in Amagi and checks him out with intent. He feels a bit awkward, so he says that he was just passing by and offered to help. She doesn't seem to know where she came from, so it leads Amagi to wonder what's up with her. This girl might be cute, but she can't recall how she got here or what she ate, so Amagi thinks that she is a fool. The girl decides she might as well ask a direct question and tries to find out if the hero is actually coming to town today. Amagi confirms this, so the girl figures that the town is lively because of this reason. She is really looking forward to the festival, but she also has a smirk on her face, which means that she could be a shady girl after all. The girl has all the information she needs, so she leaves Amagi and runs away from the scene. Our hero has no idea what just went down, but he does admit that the girl was really cute. Now, Sharon comes back to Amagi and shows him her new outfit. She says that Etna had chosen the clothes for her, so Amagi says that she looks really cute in them. Sharon has never worn anything like this before, so she thanks our hero for his kind words. Amagi likes seeing Sharon like this because she looks even cuter than before. As a matter of fact, he even thinks about holding her hand to be a little more romantic. He decides to shoot his shot, but before he can make his move, Sharon walks ahead because she wants to catch the festival celebrations as soon as she can. It leads to an awkward moment for our hero, but then we see the actual hero of the kingdom making his arrival. In a surprising turn of events, we learn that Rion is the current hero of this world, and even though Amagi gets it, Sharon is a bit slow to pick up on it. Amagi is more interested in the cute girls that are a part of Rion's harem, and they seem to have very curvy bodies. This offends our hero, because back when he had saved the world, his girls were not as curvy as these ones. Of course, it can't be helped because this is not the same world, so Amagi just has to live with it. Now, the crowd becomes excited, so the people start pushing each other, and it makes Sharon feel uneasy. She holds on to her master for support, and Amagi sees this as a chance to finally have his way with her. However, before he can do the deed, he hears a girl calling out to the hero. She is able to fly, but is not able to identify who the hero is, which makes Amagi realize that it's the same girl he had seen before on the ground. She shows herself in all her glory and reveals that she is actually a demon girl named Lori. Of course, nobody is going to react to a cute girl claiming that she is a demon, so Lori doesn't get the experience that she was hoping for. Amagi can only look on in baffled disappointment while Sharon asks him who this girl is. Lori throws a hissy fit because no one in the crowd is afraid of her or what she might do. It only makes her look cute rather than dangerous. So she has no choice but to make things interesting. Rion decides to find out what the fuss is about, so he reveals his identity and asks the demon girl why she has come here. Lori is glad to finally see who her target is, but Amagi looks at her and wonders if all is well in her head. After all, it's hard to say what's going on in that big empty skull of hers. Without further ado, Lori tells Rion that she has come here to duel with him. Rion accepts her challenge because it's his duty, but he mentions that he can't fight over since the town is full of people. He suggests going to a more open space where both he and Lori can go all out against each other. The demon girl has no problem with this, so she asks Rion to lead the way. Amagi doesn't want to miss out on this, so he decides to follow Rion as well. Sharon also wants to join her master, but he tells her that she needs to change into different clothes because she doesn't have any weapons on her right now. Sharon realizes that her master is right, so she says she'll change her outfit. Now, we move to the open battleground in the middle of the forest, and Lori gets ready to show off her powers. Before they begin, she asks Rion how he wishes to fight her, and if his harem girls will also join in on the battle. Rion draws out his sword and says that he will fight fair and square since this is a duel. With that, he takes a battle stance and tells the demon girl that he is more than enough to deal with her. Of course, Unicrum is also here, and he tells his leader that he will join in if the going gets tough. Rion is fine with that. And even Lori comments that things will get dangerous very soon, so Unicrum will need to be ready to help out the kingdom's hero. With that, both Lori and Rion call out their own names and kick off the duel in intense fashion. The handsome hero decides to strike first with his holy sword, but Lori seems to have anticipated this, and she uses a wind barrier to protect herself. She is able to block the attack with ease, and Rion realizes that he is not up against a silly girl. Even Amagi and Sharon are impressed by Lori's powers, because she does seem to have decent skills. Amagi figures that Lori might be a high demon, since she is able to keep up the barrier against Rion. The handsome hero keeps trying to break through the shield with his holy sword, but it is of no use as Lori is too strong for that. The smile on her face suggests that the demon girl wants Rion to keep wasting his strength this way, and even Amagi comments that the hero is having a hard time against his opponent. He also decides to explain the difference between a high demon and a normal demon. The main difference is that high demons look like humans and can use magic as well, but when it comes to normal demons, they look more like beasts and are only strong in physical terms. Another important thing is that high demons can be independent and they make normal demons their slaves. The normal demons can only come together as a group, similar to how Amagi and Sharon had to face off against the goblins earlier. It goes without saying that high demons have a totally different power level when compared to normal demons, and we see it in action right now. Rion has had enough of the barrier nonsense, so he calls upon the power of his holy sword. Lori figures that he's using some kind of magic, so she prepares herself for the blow. Rion goes on to unleash a vicious blast from his holy sword, and he strikes Lori with everything he's got. However, Lori is able to strike down the holy blast with just one blow, which goes on to show just how overpowered she is as a high demon. Rion is at a loss for words, and even Amagi starts to wonder how strong the demon girl really is. Lori looks bored, so she mocks Rion by asking if this is all he's got. Sharon worries for Rion and asks her master what's going to happen next. Amagi can't give her an answer because even he doesn't know how this is going to turn out. The handsome hero looks out of sorts against Lori, so Sharon can only hope that he will be okay. Lori decides to have some more fun, so she tells Rion that he is a hero, so he only shows off his powers for the sake of an audience. This takes him by surprise, but Lori's real intentions are much more sinister. She says that she will take down all of Rion's comrades to see if that will help awaken his true powers. This also includes his harem girls and their curvy bodies, so Rion is risking it all over here. With that, the demon girl kicks things off by attacking Unicrum, and she is able to crack his armor with just one blow. It causes him to fall to the ground while Rion looks on in horror and calls out to his friend. The handsome hero gets angry, so he charges at Lori with more energy. She is impressed to see that he's finally getting stronger, but even this isn't enough for her, so she decides to go after the cute harem girls next. The demon girl says that she's just getting started, so it enrages Rion more than ever. He attacks Lori with his sword once again, and we learn that his harem girls are called Aura and Caroline. He loves these girls and their curvy bodies, so he can't let Lori harm them the same way she harmed Unicrum. Of course, the demon girl just uses her barrier once again, which allows her to protect herself from the holy sword. She is actually amused to hear the names of these girls and proceeds to mock Rion a bit more. She says that only a shady man likes to keep himself close to curvy girls, and it angers the handsome hero even further. He obviously doesn't want his girls to be harmed, but even Amagi is not impressed by Rion's performance. He states that Rion is quite weak for a hero, because he gets angry way too easily, and it leads to silly decisions. He is glad that he is nothing like Rion, because he considers himself to be mature and smart. Now, Lori decides to use a roaring blast spell on Rion, and she knocks him down with just one move. The handsome hero falls to the ground, and his harem girls try to help him up. It's a rather sorry display as the demon girl mocks Rion for having lost so easily to her. Lori did not expect Rion to be so weak, but then she notices that Amagi is also here. She recognizes him as the boy she had met earlier, but our hero is not impressed by her behavior. He does admit, though, that he never imagined Lori would be a high demon. As a matter of fact, he believes that it was fate that led them to bump into each other again. We can see that Unicrum has survived the attack, but he and Rion are quite badly injured, so it doesn't look like they can fight anymore. Amagi asks Lori to wrap it up and go home for today, but the demon girl is still not satisfied with the way things have gone. She wants to bring out the hero's real strength, so she figures that she can attack Amagi to trigger Rion. Lori proceeds to attack him, hoping to finally get Rion to react, but to her surprise, Amagi is able to fend off her blow with ease. He then tells Sharon to step away because this might get dangerous. He then draws out his own sword and challenges Lori to fight him. After all, he is much more powerful than Rion, so this will be a better fight. However, our hero is not sure if he can beat the demon girl all by himself because he doesn't know what her true potential is. Anyway, he has to try, so he whispers a spell and uses Ice Bind on her. Lori finds his spell interesting but says that it won't be enough to take her down. Luckily, Amagi is quick to act on his plan, and he strikes her with his sword. The demon girl is able to bring out her barrier just in the nick of time, but she struggles to hold her own against our hero. As a matter of fact, it doesn't take long for Amagi to crack the barrier with his sword, and it makes Lori panic. Then, he manages to destroy her shield all by himself, and then he attacks the demon girl directly. Lori manages to grab his sword, but she isn't able to hold onto it for long. She is visibly struggling against Amagi while he simply looks her straight in the eye like a true alpha male. The advantage is clearly with our hero, and even the people in attendance are amazed to see how strong he is. The demon girl also can't help but concede that Amagi is way too overpowered for her liking. Of course, he has a lot more to offer, as he is able to summon vines from under the soil to trap Lori. She is amazed and shocked to see this, because Amagi has just used silent magic on her. The demon girl is trapped with nowhere else to go, so our hero decides to use a slash move on her to assert his dominance. This move seems to have a strong effect, as can be seen on Lori's face. It turns out that Amagi has chopped down her arm, so he is totally dominating the demon girl with ease. Of course, our hero knows that Lori is a high demon, so her wounds will be healed in a few hours. However, she can't use her hand for now, which means that she won't be able to use any spells on him. In that case, Amagi figures it would be best to take her down at this very moment, so he launches a flurry of attacks on his opponent. It looks like he's going to send Lori back to where she came from, but then she begs him for mercy, much to his surprise. The demon girl openly states that she has been defeated and she surrenders herself to Amagi in rather cute fashion. Our hero wants to confirm what Lori has just said, so she repeats that she has lost the fight and wants him to spare her life. The demon girl even points to her fallen off arm and says that she can't carry on without it. On top of that, her other arm is badly wounded as well, so there's no chance for her to fight Amagi anymore. On top of that, she also scolds our hero for going so hard on a delicate maiden like her. This obviously makes Amagi wonder if she's mocking him, but Lori admits that he is way too strong for her. Anyway, it's been a while since Lori had this much fun, so she likes our hero. Amagi also says that a lot of weird things have happened to him as well, but unlike Lori, he wasn't too impressed with their battle. After all, he won with a lot of ease, so Lori finds it strange that he didn't have any fun during their fight. Anyway, she is quite happy to have been beaten so badly because it's a good feeling. The demon girl was looking for someone who was stronger than her, and she thought Rion could have been that man, but he was obviously too weak. Luckily, Lori has now come across Amagi, and she even goes on to say that she has fallen in love with him. Lori also says that she vows to be by his side forever, so he should consider himself lucky for the honor. It takes our hero a moment to register what the demon girl has just said to him, and that's when he realizes that he's found himself in a tricky spot. As a matter of fact, Lori even follows Amagi to his bed and kicks him off after getting too comfortable. It's a hilarious sequence that our hero gets annoyed by, because he's the one who should be on the bed. Of course, he didn't like the way Lori looked when she had one arm cut off and the other badly wounded. But he did get caught off guard when the demon girl said that she had fallen in love with him. His intrusive thoughts take over, so he teases Lori while she's sleeping peacefully. Amagi figures that Lori is very cute, so he can take her into his harem, as he had anyway planned to keep a spot open for a high demon. We learn that Rion and his team were not too happy with Amagi getting a demon girl as his new slave, but our hero managed to convince them to change their minds. Of course, it's not like Rion could have done anything about it, because the difference in power was way too much for him. The handsome hero simply said that he had no say in this deal, so Amagi and Lori become a new couple. The demon girl does admit that she was heavily disappointed in Rion, but this is still a good outcome for her. In the middle of all this, Sharon is shown to be jealous because Amagi now has a new girl to play with. Our hero notices this, so he decides to tease her about it, but takes it a bit too far. Sharon smacks him down, which impresses Lori, because if she was able to do this with just one blow, then it means that she's more powerful than our hero. Of course, that is not the case, but the demon girl proceeds to show some love to Sharon. Amagi watches on as Sharon gets creeped out by Lori, and he realizes that the demon girl is quite young for her powers. She should at least be a few hundred years old because that's how fantasy world ages work. We learn that Lori doesn't have any parents or close relatives, as she only remembers waking up all alone in the southern forest. Since then, she has been making herself strong by fighting all the demons that live in the forest. When she finally came to the town, she learned of a powerful man known as the hero. So, in order to assess his skills, she transferred some of her own power to one of the demons in the forest. This explains the giant monster that Amagi had defeated earlier. Of course, since the monster was beaten with such ease, it made her think that the hero had beaten it, which led her to believe that Rion was a really strong man. It all starts to make sense to Amagi, and he is glad that he finally knows why he ran into the giant monster. However, can he really trust this demon girl? Also, is Sharon fine with her master getting another cute girl for his harem? Like, share, and subscribe to find out in the next video. Hit the bell icon to get notified when I upload part 2. See you soon.